Hello, everyone, and welcome to Power Hour. I'm Laura Rogers, and this is Joelle Jobson. She looks like
Hello,
she's like
everybody.
my roving reporter here in the top corner there. And she is back. We're so excited to have her back from maternity leave, and it's been a few months, so yay, Joelle's back. And today's
Hey.
topic is going to be the Microsoft's workplace transformation site template. So we're going to be going through this template and demoing it, showing how to install it, showing what it includes, and getting your opinion. So the fun thing about Power Hour is that it's live. You never know what's going to happen. And we have a live conversation going on. So wherever you are, you can, however you're watching this, you can fill out, there's a little link at the bottom to request to join. We're using Microsoft Teams to do our chat. And you fill out a form to request to join, and then we have to manually invite each person. So if this is your very first time, it's not going to be instantaneous. But then for everyone that's joined before, I'll go ahead and show you, share my screen and kind of show you what that looks like to once you're in Teams to do the chatting. So you go to your organization is going to have like something at the top right here with the name of your organization, and you can flip over to IW Mentor Power Hour. Microsoft's actually just put out an improvement to that to where you don't have to switch organizations. You can just be in all your teams. That was something that I saw at Ignite. But anyway, so we have a channel called Power Hour here. I mean, a team called Power Hour, the channel called General, and in the General channel, whatever Power Hour we're currently on is in a tab here, and in the tab is the YouTube video. So you can watch the YouTube video and you can use this little chat. Click the little chat bubble icon here, which will make it so that you can watch the video and chat at the same time. So here's all our streaming commentary. So that's the fun thing, is that you all ask questions as we go. And thank you so much. And then it's just a fun discussion. So there is a new template. I'll go ahead and move this back over here. There's a new template here, and I put it in the resources. So one more thing, I put on the posts channel. When you go here and you click the little information panel, you'll be able to see where I pinned things. So you'll always be able to get to that pinned post. So my pinned post is the one that's got the resources that I posted here. So it's two different links, and that's how you can get to those on the post channel. All right, so now I'll move that again. So this is one of the links. It is basically how you can install this. So the workplace, the whole point of the workplace transformation site, it's got a couple of different purposes. It's for people to get used to working at home. Of course, it's been about a year now, and a lot of people have had to move to working from home because of the pandemic. And so this is gives you just some resources having to do with this transformation of going from working in an office to working at home, and just having the ability to have a productive day. But this is a template that you can install and do whatever you like to do with it. So another concept is, besides just the concept of working from home, any kind of change management. So this is really like a change management template to get people engaged, give them resources about maybe it's a new product that you're rolling out at work, some new software, something that you want to give people about just any kind of new big concept, big change in your office that's going on, and to be able to have this template to use to put all the resources around that concept in here. So their concept that they're using as the example is workplace transformation and getting used to working from home. So this template is part of the lookbook. We've done a whole other Power Hour about the lookbook, probably at least a year ago, huh, Joelle? It's been a while. And we did one about the lookbook, and the lookbook gives you these templates that you can install. You have to be an admin in your tenant to be able to click to install these. But the cool thing about the lookbook is that you can just get inspired from them. You don't have to be able to install this. This is all just out of the box stuff. It will take a while to build all this, but it is buildable and it is something you can do if you're not an admin. So here's what it comes with. It's got a custom theme, it's got a little header background that it uses, a custom logo and footer. All these web parts that it uses are just out of the box web parts. There's nothing custom programmed. That's why, anyone can do this. You can do this yourself. And then the content that it has, and I'll go through this in my demo, is all listed here. So I'm going to kind of keep this as off to the side, and I'll kind of just make sure and mention all these as I go through the template itself. And then another good resource that we have is, let me get that over to this other window here. And this is another thing that I put in the chat in the Teams, is the link to this. It's the overview. So this is going to take you through everything. It's more detailed. So it's kind of telling you what I just mentioned about the purpose of what you can use it for. And it's listing a bunch of the pages that are contained in here. And it's got a list. Look at all. So it says customized web parts and content. So it is literally showing you a bunch of web parts. And I don't think it's every single web part on every single page, but it's showing you screenshots of the web parts, and it's got links to just the general help pages, just Microsoft's just support pages about each of those web parts that it's using. And of course, in my site design and web parts, in my SharePoint training at IW Mentor, I have training about these web parts as well and how to use them, configure them. But here's just like the very detailed list of what is in this site. All right, so now let's go ahead, and I've installed this. So from just from the screen, I just clicked add to your tenant. And if you're an admin, you can do this. You can just click add to your tenant, and you can say what you want the URL to be and just click provision, and it will just install it, and it'll send you an email once it's installed. So it's that easy. There was nothing to it. So that's what I did, and now I have this template that I'm going to show you. So here it is installed, and it looks like a lot. It is a lot of pages, but it is just one site. It's not subsites, it's not multiple sites, it's just a single SharePoint site with just a lot of pages and a lot of content on those pages. So let's go. The first thing that I usually do when I go to a SharePoint site is I go to look at site contents and see what's in it. And look, see, it's not much. You have a few documents. You have this checklist, which will be displayed on one of the pages. It's just a SharePoint list. And you have a bunch of site pages. So let's just go look at this checklist real quick, because it is it's going to be shown as a web part on one or two of the pages, but it's really just a pretty basic SharePoint list / Microsoft list that's got a generic list of things that you might want people to do when they're learning about hybrid work. So it's really just an example of how to use a SharePoint list and put a list of checklist items in it and how to configure it. It's got this pretty little customization on this mandatory column. And this is something that we've talked about in other Power Hours too, where you can format your columns and give it little icons and things like that. So this is what they did on here to be able to give it the thumbs up in that column. All right, so that one's pretty basic. So let's go look at all the pages. So before I start digging through all these pages, from what I've said about the hybrid work template and what it's for, what do you think? Is this something that you want to install? And if so, do you think it's going to be inspiring, having to do with working from home, like the actual content that's on here, and getting your users to read about resources working from home or any kind of change management? Or do you think it's just really cool to scroll through here and look how they use the web parts and kind of dig into the way they did things? For me, it's the latter. But I want to see what you all think. So Post your comments in here, because that's mainly what we'll be doing is we'll be talking about, how people can use this and do hybrid work. But to me, the cool part is, how did they make it look so pretty? All right. So first of all, there is a template that a color scheme that comes with it. So when I go to change the look, it's got its own little theme. And it just says current selection. It's got these purple colors in it. People's responses are coming in. Let's see. Well, that's a good point. So Zach says that management will like the concept of it, that it says hybrid, and management likes to be able to, maybe to be able to have a site like that teaches people about that concept. Philip said the ladder. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. I thought most of you would kind of be on board. Same idea. All right. Joelle, what do you think?
I think it's also a little late, but I think it'll be good for getting ideas for design and web parts.
Sure. Okay. So it's got its own custom color theme, and it's got a bunch of pages. So on the home page, another thing that it's got is on this. I already did this, so it's telling me I can't add this template. That's fine. On this screen, it shows you full screenshots of all of these pages. So it's like they scrolled down the screen as they were doing the screenshot. So it's showing you all these web parts that it's got. So this makes it so if you specifically want to just jump in here and say, all right, I like the way this one little thing looks right here, I want to make a page that looks like this, then you'll know how to just go to that page and go just hit edit and figure out what those web parts are, right? So this is a good way to just quickly see what all the pages have on them. So I am on the home page, and this looks really neat. I'll go ahead and just dive straight into editing it. I like the way this looks. It looks like it's one big purple section, and it's got links in the section, but look how they did this. It's very creative. So they have two sections here. See this top section up here? And it just has a dark background, and it's 1/3 left. And then this section down here, it looks like it's one big thing, but this section is just a one column section, and it also has a purple background. So that's how they made it look like one big giant entity on the page. It looks like it almost is one big giant web part, but it's not. It's just text. This is just a text web part. This is just a text web part. And this is just a quick links web part. So the quick links is so versatile. I love it. And I think I'm going to put that as the voting for the next power hour, just to have a whole power hour about quick links, because they're like 800 different ways you can make it look, right, Joelle? I mean, we use this for everything. And you can be very creative as to how you can make it look with just different images and different icons and buttons or not, etc. So this is just the quick links web part, and the quick links web part has got a compact format, and it shows, just dig in and see what all the settings are. And then it looks like we have just a lot of text web parts. This one is a text web part that has somebody just pasted some icons in here. So, and notice that, I don't know how new this is, but you can add a hyperlink by typing the little bracket, the little double brackets, and your link name and the URL. So that's kind of a quick way to add a hyperlink in as you're going in the text web part. And then we have, again, another quick links web part. We're probably going to see a lot of these. And we have an image, and we have a lot of image web parts that are above just some text web parts. So they just used a lot of separate text web parts to give it this look, this very custom look that makes it look like there's an image above some text that goes with the image. Let's see what else is interesting on here. This is the events web part. So this is a creative way that they use the events web part. So the events web part can just roll up events from any other site in or anywhere in SharePoint, but you can also filter it. So what they did was their events have a field called category, and so instead of just having one big web part with all the events lumped into it, they just created separate event web parts that they're all rolling up, but they just filtered each web part and just typed, just gave it a name. So they filtered this events list by a category called Lunch and Learn, and then just named the web part Lunch and Learn. And then same thing with office hours. It's just a category of office hours. So that's a nice creative way of doing that, right? It gives you some ideas. So that takes you to the bottom of that page. I'm just going to discard any changes I made. And then this page is very pretty. What did they do here? Let's see. Is there anything interesting on this page? So let's see. I think this looks kind of pretty down here at the bottom. Let's go see how they built that. And let me see if you have any questions. Oh, Joelle, can you let me know, just since I'm just blah, 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 just talking the whole time, if anybody has a question we need to address? Sure. It looks like there's a whole big long conversation in there that I can't really tell what I missed. Okay, let's see. Okay, so this is just the title region of the page. So this is just the one that automatically comes on a new page when you create it. And then this is just an image, and I can tell just really quick on something that it's an image because it's got these little image formatting icons, but also if you just toggle that little web part panel, and it'll just say the name of the web part over here. So if you're not sure what a web part is, just click the little edit button. You have to hover over the web part and click the little edit button, and that will toggle that panel out. So then from then on, as you're going down the page, you can just click on another web part and just see, oh, well, this is just a text web part. And they just put these pretty little numbers in it. Interesting. All right. It looks like they probably, how do you think they did the little, it looks like they just pasted that in there maybe from Word, because it doesn't give you the ability to do this formatting in here.
Yeah, they probably just pasted it or did something like that.
Do
similar.
what?
I said they probably just pasted it. Pasted
so that's another thing that the text web part has, is this rich interactivity with other Microsoft products like PowerPoint and Word. So when you paste things from those other products into here, it keeps, I'd say, most of the formatting. Even tables will come in here, will paste correctly into this web part. Oh, so look at this one. It just looks like a series of pictures, but yet another Quick Links web part. So the way they configured this Quick Links web part was as a grid, and then it has to do with the setting of the way they did each quick link. So they said they said what they wanted to link to, and then the other one that we saw had icon, and this one has custom image. So these are links to different pages in your site, but they just have a picture to represent the links. And then this one is also an image web part, but it's like got a read more link in it. So how did they do that? So with an image web part, I'm sorry, it's not an image web part, it's a call to action. It says it right here. It's a call to action web part that's got a background image.
Those are my faves.
What?
I was saying those are my favorite. I use them all the time.
Yeah, look how pretty that looks. Like, who knew, right?
Yeah, they look really good in like one like in a one column section. They look really good too, like as like a header.
Yeah, so here's what they did to achieve this. They put this 2-column section, and they put this sort of soft color background on it, and then they just inserted two different call to action web parts. So the call to action makes itself so that it's one big button, really. The whole thing is a button, but they put a background image in it, so you can change what the background image is. Like if I went like this, see, it changes the background. But then you're also, to get this text on here, you're just typing. You're just typing directly on the web part. So that's one of those things about web parts. Some of them will have something that you're typing directly on the page, but then a lot of the settings are over on the right. So this one's got a combination of two. So it's got the button label is where they typed read more. See, I just typed stuff. And then the button link. So this whole thing is the call to action, but then the button is what you click to go to well, you know, whatever this hyperlink is that you put here, and then you can give it alignment. And I love the undo. There, so it can undo. That's a fairly new feature too, right? Oh, Zach said new book idea, 800 ways to use quick links. Nice.
So true. So true.
I could put Aunt B on that. She can do that. Oh, one cool thing that she did, in our training, we have like information about the lookbook in our site design and web parts class. And we go, and she helped with this, and we go through one of the lookbook ideas. And so, you know, like I mentioned, not everybody can click install because not everybody's a global admin. So it's a step-by-step instructions on how to build that exact lookbook site. And Aunt B helped build that. And it's got a lot of quick link web parts in it. So it's just fun. Okay, so that was the last one on that page. So that's the hybrid work. So let me go ahead and discard all my changes. And let's go through just, but you know, before I get into the weeds of going and digging into all these web parts, you've got the idea now that they're all just out of the box web parts. You're so right, Lisa. As soon as it's published, Microsoft will come up with the 801st. That is why I don't.
That's why we don't do anymore. Yeah, that's why we don't. Really.
Okay,
no more books.
So right. Okay, so then get started is this page that has got some nice little main links it wants people to click on to give them a quick little step-by-step what to do. So here are the things that you need to watch and do, and then here's your checklist for hybrid work. Now, with a real checklist concept, you would think you would want to have like actual tasks assigned to somebody, and if you want to know if they did them, they'd have to check them off and you'd assign them. So that'll be a whole workflow, which is a completely different concept. This is really just a checklist for people to read. And then we have community. Now, community is going to really, the purpose is for Yammer. So it even says right here, basically, to replace this graphic. So this is just a picture of Yammer. So replace this graphic with the actual Yammer web part. So if you're using Yammer in your organization, then that's the whole purpose of this page with community. So you, if you don't have Yammer, then this whole little section could go away. Or if you don't use Yammer, I think everybody has it. And then some of these links don't actually do anything, but they're just giving you ideas. So like this link doesn't actually click and go anywhere. It just goes back to the home page. But it will, the idea is that you could potentially put a Microsoft form in here or a Power App for somebody to submit a request. And what it even describes in the documentation over here, it even describes kind of some ideas through here of things like that you might want to do with the links and things. So you've got Week in the Life. Now this is pretty cool. This is a PDF. So this is a full PDF that you get as part of this template. And so it's got a link here to download the PDF, but it's also got the whole PDF embedded on the page here. So what did they do here? Let me see. So they put download full PDF, and that is just, so this is just text, text, and a button web part. And it's just a button taking you to that PDF in the library. And then these look like a bunch of separate web parts. What is, because it's just one PDF, so what are they doing? So it says start page 1. So it's the file viewer web part, but what they've done, that's very creative. So what they've done is they put a bunch of separate file viewer web parts on here, and it looks like they made it somehow only start on a certain page. For some, I'm not sure why that says start page 1 on here, but they are a bunch of separate web parts just pointing to that same file. So to me, they put a different start page in each web part, but for some reason it just says 1 in each one. But that looks like what they did. But that is the file viewer web part where you could just embed a PDF just directly on the page. All right, now we have a bunch of resources here, and there, of course, there are links throughout all these different pages that take you to these different resources. But of course, you can always just go to the Site Pages library if you just want to straight up see a list of what all the pages are and scroll through those. But we're just kind of going systematically through the navigation. All right, so this is the training. So we have links to different parts of the site here. And this is another template. So this learning pathways concept, this is also in the lookbook. And this is a site that you can install in your tenant that has built-in Microsoft training. So this has the training content in it is just directly from just like support.office.com. It's just got basic information about all these different products like SharePoint and Teams. And so it's another product that you can install that is in the lookbook. And we've actually installed this for a few customers. I think I've done a couple. Joelle, I think you've done a couple of these, right? I think they changed the name of it since then, but yeah, we've this is really useful to have for people to just have that built-in training, and that way you can customize it and have it have your branding or links to your own custom training too in there. All right, so that's the training quick tips. And this is another one that looks kind of like they had on that other page with a bunch of text, but then a quick links web part across it. And then what are these? So these are kind of silly to me because you can tell when you hover over it that it's a link, but they're just pictures. So I don't know about you, Joelle, but when I'm putting things on a page, if people can click on it, it seems kind of silly to have it just open a picture when that's not really the purpose of what I want people to do with these, right? I don't know.
Right.
So
I mean, only
like
if it's intended to be like a image gallery of pictures. You know what I mean? Like where you want to make them like see a larger version of it, but yeah, not just for that kind of thing.
Yeah, I feel like if you have maybe pictures from some company event, like the company picnic, and people want to zoom in on different pictures. But for these, I don't know if that's the best purpose. So maybe a quick links web part would be better because, but if these don't need to be links, then I guess you could use the image web part and not make them links because that image web part has that option.
Yeah, you'd have to play around with it a little bit with the format, but yeah.
So this page has a lot of this. So this has to do with educating people on tips on how to work from home, work-life boundaries, give yourself break. Oh, you're supposed to give yourself breaks? I don't know about that. I wasn't aware of that rule. It's such pretty weather lately. I kind of make myself take breaks and go sit in the backyard or something. It's been so nice. Spring. Focus time. So anyway, so the content here is really just kind of a way that for the hybrid work thing to give people tips of things, and you're just letting them read things down this page. But then whatever kind of change management, if you change this to be a site about something else, potentially you could put tips. But this is just a nice way that you could make a page look, just to give you ideas of how you could use the text web part and have this nice pretty formatted text combination combined with images.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just the thing is I think people get kind of caught in like using the same layout, using the same web parts in the same way. You know what I mean? And there's just so many different ways that you, as a non-designer, can totally make a very pretty, attention-grabbing intranet. So it's
Oh,
a
I see
plus.
so many customers that, because we're in all these different SharePoint sites all day, and they'll just paste a wall of text just out of a document or PDF and just paste that and have that be the page content.
Yeah.
So what you do is you just look at that content and you can find like anything that maybe is a small set of bullet points, or anything that like where you could break it up. The bullet points could be presented nicer, or you could have things in different columns in the sections on the page, or just
Yeah.
kind of step back and look at it more maybe artistically as to how it can. I'm not an artist, I don't know, but there's
Yeah,
got to
just like
be
that. I
somewhere
think
you
it's
could put a
the
divider or something, right?
Yeah, like if you on the homepage of this one, I know it's on the other one. I didn't see it on yours, but on the homepage of this one, like, if are you on the homepage? I'm not sure how this one. I can't, like, my screen isn't totally. Yeah, like, yeah, at the top there. Like, one of the things that I like to do with text, if like they're having like their core values or something like that, is like using bold and color text and stuff like that, just like they did at the top there, because that changes it completely from just like all the same text and the same color in a big web part. I think even just doing simple things like what they did at the top there it makes a huge difference.
Absolutely. And the fact that Microsoft has built in the stock images now makes all that just so much easier.
Oh my
It's huge.
gosh. That is like, I used to spend so much time going to find free stock photos to use on my like internets I was building, and it's like the nicest thing in the world. I just go and search for like a word and pull it in. It's like the nicest thing ever.
Huge. Yeah. Okay, so let's see, where was I? So, message from a CEO. Everybody needs this, right? Everybody's got a CEO. Look how pretty she is. So, you've got a
I like her
message from
necklace.
Patty, your CEO. So, you can just replace this with your own CEO. And now, here's where you could put a video on here. So, it's just telling you basically replace this with your own video. So, this is a file viewer web part that they used here. But you could, instead of using the file viewer web part, you could use, like, there's a stream web part, and there's an embed web part. Let's see, I think there's a YouTube. Yeah, and there's a YouTube web part, and those are all different other ways that you could, wherever your video is, that you could display this video on the page. That was something that I had for a customer that I built some pages for recently, where the page they wanted me to build just had a list of YouTube links. So I went ahead and just put like this grid, using a couple of different sections that had like 3 columns, and I just put the YouTube videos like that all displayed on the page. So it gives people one less click, and it makes the page like have, something different on it. And if you put it in the small sections, then the YouTube video will shrink down to be the size of the section. So it'll be nice and small and just a quick little thing you can push play. And then more text web parts. Okay, so then that was the message from the CEO. Let's see, I went down the whole thing. Yeah. And I'm going to not save this one. All right, the concept of a champion program. This is, think about in your workplace the sort of rock stars, like the SharePoint rock stars, Teams rock stars, people that really get into it and they get excited about it, and they start maybe showing their colleagues how to do things in them, and they start making the most of it and creating channels or creating lists in SharePoint. So these people might not necessarily be IT people, but these are going to be people that you can kind of, figure out who they are and foster that love for SharePoint and encourage them. And so that's the concept of the champion program that they're talking about here. So this just says join the champion program. So it's really just kind of like an internal, maybe like sort of like an internal user group, internal champion program. It's really just those people that are going to be helpful to their coworkers and help generate ideas, share ideas with each other, and kind of encourage people to make the most of SharePoint, without having to have formal training, right? So whether or not they've gone through formal training, whether or not any of their colleagues had, they're, maybe kind of showing people easier ways to do things, or very, very specific to their job. So that's one thing about champions that you have that you don't have with just like someone that just comes and trains you on something, is the champions have figured out in their role, in their job at work, they figured out something more efficient, a cool, interesting way of doing something, or a time-saving way of doing something in their job. So that makes it very specific and helpful to other people around them. I was saying like, oh, well, SharePoint's got all these cool things. Like, I don't know how that applies to me, but then this gives them something that applies to them. So I'm not sure. Just
Yeah, and then those people, and then those people definitely help kind of like sell it to everyone else, because instead of it just coming from IT, it's coming from somebody in a similar role. Like, hey, I'm in a similar role to you, and look what I've done. That kind of thing. It helps so much. Like, I feel like all of the successful adoptions I've ever seen in my 10 years of doing this, so 10 plus years now, have been because people had either champions or like power users they were really like working with, and that kind of thing. That's made such a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm kind of curious what you all think about that concept, if you all have that concept at work too. And if you don't have a champions concept, you can probably think off the top of your head of some people. You probably are the people, the people that are like the SharePoint rock stars, that at work that this would apply to. So
It
that's
is
one of
weird
those
that they
things that
put
we
it
talk.
in with
Go ahead.
the digital transformation stuff, though, like specifically. Like, I think that's a weird combination, this and that. What do you think about that? Like, do you think it really goes with all the work from home things, like being a
That is
champion?
tricky. That is tricky
Yeah.
because,
I guess it kind of does, it kind of doesn't.
yeah. So how are you gonna like sit there and help somebody with something real quick if you're all just at home on your computers? So that makes it challenging. I guess that's kind of why this whole like focus on helping people work from home more efficiently and making sure they know how to use Teams, because yeah, you and I do that all the time. We don't live in the same city, but we jump on a Teams call every now and then and just turn on our cameras and chat and talk through a quick question or something. And so maybe people that aren't used to that and have never used Teams, it helps to show them how to do that and just understand the concept that you can do that, right? With Teams.
Yeah.
Let's see. Another event web part. Get help is another page. So this one's got some people. It's like let's see, that's just a people web part. Let me see. Oh yeah. That is a whole bunch of people web parts. Whole bunch of people in a people web part. So you can click here and you can just see that it's just the compact version of the people web part. So it's showing you who those people are. And then you've got, of course, more events. And I like the way they break this up with the different colors. So you have your different shading that you can use. So this one's got the shade of gray. Different shading that you can use in different sections down the page just makes it more interesting to, as you're reading, it breaks it up. And then this customization instructions takes you to that external page that I was showing you. That's the document, this thing that shows you all this information about it and how to customize it. So that's where that takes you. All right, let's go to site contents, and I'm just going to go to site pages. So this is really how you can get to the meat of your site, because I know a lot of you or just want to go straight to it. The first thing I notice is that it has templates. So it has templates, which means when I'm on the home page and I click to create a new page, look at this, they've even got built-in templates. So they've got a recognition template, and it doesn't have much on it. And then another recognition template where it's just got it's going to have a little bit of example text on it. And then this one's like if you have a champion of the month. So again, just some examples of templates, and they do have some I think they have let's see, news post. And they have some news. These aren't news templates though. It looks like these are the same templates. They're not necessarily just news. So I guess it would be a news page that would look like this if you picked one of those. And then they have, let's see what else is included in here from that list real quick, anything that I've missed. So it's got the custom home page. It's got the 11 customizable pages, and then custom illustrations, of course. The hybrid work checklist is that Microsoft list, 2 news templates, 4 news articles with example content. So we can go dig in and see what those 4 news articles are real quick. I didn't notice any news web parts, but I did kind of breeze through some of these fairly quickly. So let me see. And even if I don't see a news web part on here, what I can do is if I just want to see what the news is, there are a couple of different ways. I can go into the site pages library, and there's a way that you can look at the metadata of what the pages are, the pages you see listed, and to be able to tell if something is news. But another way that you can do it is to just add a news web part. So here's my news web part. And I'm just going to say it's set on this site, and it doesn't come with that many pieces of news. It's only got 3 of them, 3 articles. And I'll go ahead and save that and click add. Yeah, see, those are those same templates that we just saw. So I don't see any special news templates. But the other way that you can tell if something is news, what is that metadata called, Joelle?
Promoted state.
Promoted state, and
yeah,
it's not in there. News. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, so you can tell when promoted state is 2, right? That means it's a news article. Is that it? Promoted status 2? Yeah. Yeah, so that's a news article that I'm looking at. Okay. So that's how you can tell when you're just looking at this wall of pages what's what. So we already looked at getting started. We looked at community, get help, champion program. Okay, manager only. This is another concept if you want to have a link that's for managers only. So this page is for managers only. And it's got tips for managers. It's got information and resources for managers. It's got, let's see, what is this web part? That's just an image. That's just an image. And then this is quick links. Oh, interesting. Let me pull up so I've got a film strip, and why won't these click? I'm not sure why the little settings thing for these won't click, but
yeah, it's weird.
Oh, it was just a hyperlink. It wasn't actually a video. I think it was just a picture that looked like it was a video. Anyway, so you have everything just for managers. So now this is not anything that's top secret. There's nothing proprietary on here, but you might want the manager link to only show for people that are managers. So I went ahead and went into my admin center, and I created a group, and I did add a group, and I created it as a mail-enabled security group. So this is not a distribution list, not a Microsoft 365 group. It is a mail-enabled security group, and I called it IW Mentor Managers. And then I did this just a couple of minutes before Power Hour, and then it took a few minutes for it to show here, and then I went ahead and just added myself to it. And so the idea is that you could use audience targeting if you want only, the people in that group to see if you have extra links where you don't want just regular people to be overwhelmed with a bunch of content that doesn't apply to them. You have that concept of audience targeting that you can do. And we've done a power hour about audience targeting before. They've even changed it and improved it since then. But you could audience target a link to just that group of people. So let's see if I can see the link now. Come on. No, I can't. It's supposed to be under resources, so I'll show you where it is. So I turned on the site navigation audience targeting, and then you can see managers only is supposed to be under resources. And I think this is just a timing thing. It's just going to be like there's a timer job, something running on the server that just hasn't run yet and put me in that audience yet to show me the certain content. So I went into the settings of this managers only hyperlink, and I added IW Mentor managers here. So that way only the people in that group would see that link. And again, I can still get to the link though. You notice that I just went to site pages and I just clicked on the managers only page. So it's not security. It's just you're trimming it down to keep things relevant, right? All right, so that's the manager list of managers. Manager only content. And then home compass, what is that? I think that's the same. Let Compass guide you through our transition to a hybrid workplace. I think this is one that it isn't even in the navigation anywhere. It's just another general idea. And then we've got a couple of different hybrid work and then quick tips, training materials. So what is going above and beyond? All right, so this is a great idea. This one is everybody's got champion of the month or employee of the month, right, Joelle? Everybody's got this concept. So you could create a page that even if you're not using this site template, even if you're not doing hybrid work or, none of this applies to you, everybody's got some employee that you probably want to highlight. Our employee of the month is Joelle. Did you know that, Joelle? You're the employee of the month.
Yeah.
We just rotate.
Every month.
So you can highlight your employee of the month. So this is a great idea. It's got a bunch of text here, and then you could theoretically put somebody's picture in here using what is this? The descriptive version of the people web part. So let's see, Joelle. There's Joelle, employee of the month. Congratulations. So it's got this descriptive one. And then another nice little touch you could do would be to put maybe a different background on it like that, just to kind of break it up. And then they've got some pretty little icons. And then what is this? This is the call to action again at the bottom. So that's actually a good idea that you could have as a standard, right? So if you have a lot of pages and you're trying to create some standardization across them, in this one they've got like 2 call to action web parts at the bottom of a bunch of these pages. So that's gives you a good idea of maybe something that you could do that's something that people expect on every page, right?
Yeah. Save it as a template and use that.
Yeah. What am I missing? Any questions? Let's see.
Lisa mentioned are the photos and site assets. I think that was earlier when you were talking about photos.
What were we looking for?
Stored. I can't remember exactly if that was like when you were looking at the news or maybe one of those quick link image web parts. But I imagine they probably are in site assets though, for the imagery.
Let's see.
Oh wait, she might just be asking out of curiosity if that's where they stored them. Just so we could reuse them elsewhere.
The PDF is in site assets. All the images that are used on all these different pages get put in site assets, and then
the
documents has, oh, it's got some, I see, I think a few of these pages had little roll-up web parts. I mean, like highlighted content web parts that were showing some PowerPoints. So that's what that is. And then there's Patty, the CEO. There's her video. And quick tips for a hybrid workplace. So yeah, you get some lovely free files when you install this template. Nice. You can learn all about cool. Engaging employees and a guide for tough conversations. Oh, it does. Oh man, there's no.
It's blank.
A rip off.
A guide for tough conversations. Don't have them. Just give up.
Okay. All right. That says it all. It's like crickets chirping. Okay. Let's see. What else? Lisa said some of the images are cool. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. You can. Okay. You know what you can do? Here is my tip of the day. What I love to do, if I don't feel like drilling through all these folders, what I'll do is I'll go in here and create a new view and call it Laura. And I always just create my own private view, and I'm making a gallery. And then in my view settings, go edit my view. Folders. Show all items without folders. So I don't have to go drill down through all the folders. I can just look at these as tiles. Why is it not showing? Ooh, that is weird. Let me refresh that. It's supposed to show them as tiles. It's trying to. I don't know what the deal is with that.
It's just a load issue.
It just can't render them all. I'll go back to all documents. All documents. Format current view. No, wait, edit current view. So before I switch it to tiles, then I'll do the folder, turn off the folders thing. Try it in a different order this time. Okay, so now I'm looking at all the items in the whole library with no folders. A lot of them look like they're the same file uploaded multiple times. And then switch it to tiles. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there it goes. Oh, there they are, Lisa.
Yeah. So now you can at least just see what all the files are, what all the images are, without having to spend all that time drilling in. And yeah, some of those are good images to use. But I love all just the stock images too.
Yeah. I can't remember if it's in SharePoint or not, but I saw when I was in PowerPoint recently, I saw that they actually have some like of those illustration type ones. Like, you know, they have stock photos obviously, and then they have these like illustrations that are like that, like the little really like modern animated little images. And they have those in PowerPoint that you can use. I thought that was pretty cool. Like,
oh, cool! I didn't notice that. What are they called? Do you know?
It's called illustrations. Like there was a stock photos tab, something tab, and then one was called illustrations. And I clicked on that, and it had all these kind of like cute little illustrations. I think it may have been PowerPoint. I'm not sure if that's in. That
is cool. We should have a PowerPoint Power Hour.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff in there now.
That's good to know.
I was going to ask. Speaking of web parts, and this is like may not be related, but kind of it could be related. I am, just coming back from another planet, and I just found the org chart web part. Got really excited about that. Have you shown that before on Power Hour? Talked about it?
No, I don't think I have. Let me see.
I know that was just something that I know so many people wanted so badly. Was to make an org chart, kind of like with the people.
There's a My Feed web part too. There are a few new ones that we could just probably do a whole Power Hour about.
Yeah.
Just the new web parts. Yeah, so there's my little fake org chart. You just put somebody's name in it, and it just shows the org chart.
Yeah, the manager
or
the leader. Yeah.
So let me see if I do. Oh yeah, so look, I put the number of levels, so now it shows Garth Fort above me.
Yeah.
Cool.
I know people really wanted that.
Yeah. So and then there are a lot of web parts that they kind of just appear. here and there every now and
Yeah.
then, just new ones will show up. So yeah, we just need to do like a web part update or something. But I did want to do a whole power hour about quick links because there's some new things
That'd
you
probably
can
be
do with
worth
it.
it.
Do what?
So that would be worth it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff with that.
We could call it quick links and other cool web parts. Let's see. Let's go back to, there we go. All right, that kind of wraps it up. Deborah says Laura Tester for Employee of the Month. Garth Fort, Employee of the Month. Zach says I built a page and added to a Teams tab for all the users I work with to have it available since we don't use the modern style yet. You don't use the modern style yet, Zach? What are you waiting for? It's still like, because you and I, Joelle, we're immersed in all the new modern stuff pretty much in power hours and everything that we do, but there's still, I mean, pretty much, I don't know, a ton of our customers still just have the classic stuff, and it just, like we were talking about earlier, people are just working, they're doing their jobs. A lot of people just don't have time to mess with what the page looks like. They just want to go to the
Yeah.
documents, right?
Just get the content out there.
Just quickly, like, go to this file, do my job, do my tasks. And a lot of people, just what the pages look like is not a priority. So a lot of companies are still on the classic look, but y'all move to modern. It's so much easier. It really is. Yeah. All right. Thanks for posting that picture of your baby. So cute.
No problem.
Thanks everybody for coming. And next week, let me go, let's see. Are we having power hour schedule? When you go to iwmentor.com and you go to the schedule page, that's where it tells you when we're having power hours. So next week is our interactive advanced Power Apps and advanced Power Automate course all week. So we're not having power hour next week. So, and we'll be returning on March 31st for power hour. So we'll see everybody then. Thanks for coming. Check us out,
Thanks,
our
everybody.
training at iwmentor.com. Bye,
Thanks,
everybody.
everyone. Bye.
I'll wait for the delay.